Okay, so in this video, we will see about the EC2 only, but few more feature of the EC2. We will cover about the security groups. What are the security groups? Okay, so first we have to open the AWS console. Then we have to select our particular region on which we want to spin up our EC2 instance, and we have to make sure that we are not uh, log in as a root user. We should create our own user and we will logged in using that particular IAM user. Okay, so we can select EC2, which is used to create the virtual service in the cloud. So click on the EC2. So it will like the dashboard will be open. Right now I don't have any EC2. It is in terminate state. So after few minutes, maybe after 30 minutes or 20 minutes, like this will also get disappeared from the dashboard, right? Uh, so we have to create, let's create the EC2 instance. So click on the launch instance. So we will use the free tier eligible. So we will use the Amazon Linux image. We will select it. We will use the free tier only, t2.micro. Go to the next. We will use like all the everything will remain same. We will use the user data. User data is basically a script which we want to run, all right, when the machine will get start. Okay, so we will use the bash script. So bash script always start with the shebang operator, that is hash, then bin/bash. Okay, then we will do yum. So why we are using the yum? Because as I told you in the last video that we selected the Amazon image, and Amazon image is based on the Red Hat operating system, and Red Hat use the yum as a package manager. So yum update -y, and as I told you in the last video, why you have to use the -y, because it needs the user feedback whether you want to continue or not. So if we will not provide -y, like it will not work. You can like go through this particular document docs.aws.amazon.com, and everything like which I am explaining here, everything is like explained, like they have explained very nicely manner. So run commands on your Linux instance at the launch. So so let me show you. So okay, so here user data and shell scripts. Okay, so they have told you like we have to use the /bin/bash. The user scripts should be start with the hash symbol, that is the shebang symbol, and then exclamation mark. Okay, and they have also told you like we have to, if we are running the yum update, we have to use the -y flag, because why we have to use the -y flag? Because the script is you cannot include command that require user feedback, such as without the -y flag. Okay, otherwise when we run yum update, it will ask whether you want to install the update or not. Just click y or no. Okay, so we don't want to press y, so that's why we will give -y within the command line itself. Okay, so then they told, okay, if we face any issue, then we go to the where directory, then log directory, then cloud init output. We can see the logs if there is any error. So let's start. So we will like install the Apache server only. So yum install -y httpd. The same example they have given here only. So let me show you where the example. So they have example the like hash bin bash yum update -y. You can ignore this. So yum install -y httpd. They are using some DB server as well, but we are using only Apache server using the httpd. They are using the PHP. We will use the HTML. So like everything like more or less is the same only. So yum install -y http. Then we will start the httpd server, basically Apache server. Then we will enable it. Okay. So after enabling it, what we have to do, so there are few stuffs which we have to do, though it is not working as expected. So what the stuff is, ideally, like what command we are written, so we are writing here. Okay. We want to create some script, some HTML file, like welcome dollar host name and closing bracket, and we want to write into /var /www /html and with the name index.html. But by default, like our user doesn't have any permission to to do any write operation into the /var /www directory. So that's why we have to give some permission. So to give some permission, they have provided some commands. So we will just copy these commands and we will add these commands here. So they are using the user mode operator. So user mode is basically to modify, like any user. So here we are like adding our EC2 user to a particular group, and the group name is Apache. Then we are like changing the ownership of this folder, and we are making our ownership to this, and then we give some read write access to the group to the owner, and we are finding this particular folder, and within that folder we are finding all the directory that is type is equal to d, type is equal to 5, which means if it find any directory, or it find any file, so it should give execute permission, that is a 2sys read write permission. Basically in the var www we have the html folder, so that is a directory. So on the directory we are giving the read write permission, but if there is a file we are giving this permission, right? So that's it. So go to the next. So we will leave the storage as is, go to the tags. So we will give the tag here owner, we will give another tag with the name security group, because in this lecture we will cover about the security group only. And next, so here are the security groups. So they told that okay, whether you want to create a new security group or whether you want to use an existing security group. So here we are want to create a new security group. So security group is basically a firewall. So let's suppose you have created one EC2 instance. So security group is act as a firewall which will decide what all the traffic will come inside the virtual machine and what all the traffic will go outside from the virtual machine, that is from the internet. Who can access my virtual instance, and from our virtual instance, like to what outer worlds, like the virtual instance will like send the data. So basically the security group act as a firewall only, so it will decide. So right now we have the SSH was on the port 22, which is basically used to log in into the Linux server, okay, using the terminal. So we will add one more rule, HTTP rule. So HTTP, this is unsecured because this is HTTP, and by default the port range is 80. So we will give the custom range anywhere and anywhere. So we are giving the IPv4. This is the IPv4, and we have comma. This is the IPv6 syntax. Okay, so that's it. We will review and launch, and click on the launch. And here we have to create a key pair. So let's create a new key pair and give storage, sorry, security group SG, and download the key pair and launch the instances. So click on it. So let's wait for a few minutes. So this is our instance. This is the name which we have gave. Okay, it started. So in the security section we can see the security group which we have created, and if we click on the security group, we can see the outbound rules. So we give two rules, that is the SSH and the HTTP, and for the HTTP we give IPv4 and IPv6. Okay, so these are act as a firewall only. So go to the EC2, go to our running instances, select this, so it will show the IP. So just copy this IP, go to the browser and click enter. So here we are seeing welcome from our host name. So host name is, so if you go to this, it's 172.31.42.83. So 172.31.42.83. so this is our host name. So if I click enter, it's the by default not secure, and if I use HTTPS, it will not work, because in our security group we have explicitly mentioned only SSH and the HTTP ports are allowed. So HTTPS is not allowed. So that's why you could see this window is continuously running and running and running, and hopefully it will give the timeout error. So it will the error connection closed. And if you go to the detail, so yeah, so this is basically closed. So now what we will do is, we will go to the security group, we will click on the security group. So security group is nothing but it's a as a firewall rules, like what all traffics we want to allow into our virtual machine, right? And by default, if you click on the, there are two rules, one is the inbound rule, one is the outbound rules. So inbound rules means what all the traffic from which all IP on which port we want the traffics inside our virtual instance. So we have to set this, but by default outbound rule is all. See, we have not set the outbound rules, so by default it is all traffic. It means it will send all the traffics to all the IPs from our virtual instance, but we can set this as well. So generally we keep it as all traffic, because let's suppose in the virtual instance you are running some commands to install some updates. So it will install the updates from the global internet. So our virtual instance has to connect to the global internet. So that's why the outbound rule generally we will see it is all allowed, but in the inbound rule we will restrict to the particular IPs. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's edit the inbound rules, and let's delete the HTTP and save it. So now we have deleted our HTTP. So now we don't have the HTTP. So what should be the expected behavior? So expected behavior should be, if I click on this IP, if I copy this IP, and if I browse this again, it should not work, right? And I should get the timeout error, because this IP, because we are not allowing the HTTP, but it seems it works. I believe this because this get from the cache. So if I close this tab and stop my instance, okay, so it is stopping. It will take few minutes to get it stopped. Yeah, it stopped. So click on the instance. Now click on the instance state and click start instance. So it will get started within a few seconds. Yeah, it started. So click on it, copy the IP, go to the browser and hit enter. So it should not work, because why it should not work? Because by default, see, we are getting HTTP error 504, and what is 504? 504 is the timeout. So if you click on what is HTTP 504, HTTP 504 is the timeout error. So this is the expected behavior, because in our security groups, what we mention, we are saying that only SSH is allowed. If someone from the outer world doing the SSH in my computer, then it is allowed. But if someone trying to use the HTTP, then it is not allowed. So let's modify again our inbound rule and add the HTTP. So 80. So let's IPv4. So let's add one more rule, HTTP from anywhere. Now we will select IPv6. Okay, so save the rules. So we have saved the rules. So click on the EC2. Now we will enter it. So now we have allowed the rules in the in our instance, within the security region, within the security tab, within the security group, within the inbound rules. Now we have allowed the HTTP, IPv4 and IPv6, and when I click on my IP, I am able to see my web page, because in my web page I have created the web page on the runtime, that is the welcome, and then the hostname is the basically the IP of the particular virtual machine. So now it works. So let's explore a few more things. So right now we have explored HTTP and SSH, but there are multiple rules. So you can see the HTTP S. So HTTP, if you click on HTTPS is the port number 443. You can do the RDP. RDP is basically like a port number 3389. RDP is for the to log in into the Windows server. SSH is to log in into the Linux server. RDP is to log in into the Windows server. So there are so many. FTP is not FTP. So there could be a lot of stuffs here, but mainly which we usually use, HTTP, HTTPS, and SSH and the RDP. Okay, so that's also security group are basically the firewall, so nothing else. So when you generally spin up a virtual machine in your actual project, in your actual company, we always create first security groups. Within the security groups, we set our inbound rules, we set at our outbound rules, so that no one from the global world should access our instances, whichever we are spinning up, whether it is S3 bucket or whether it is EC2 instances. So that's why it is always recommended first to have to create a security group, set the rules as per our company standards, then spin up the virtual machine, or create any object, whether it is S3 object, lambda instance, or lambda function, or EC2 instance, or anything. So create that instance, but you should create the instance and you should attach with the particular security group which the company has created for us, and we should create that instance within a particular virtual private network. Right now we are not using any virtual private network, so automatically by default it is creating the default network. Okay, so yeah, so that's the end of the video. So you can I will give this link, so you can go through this link. It's very useful link. So it's tell us a lot of things, why we have to use the -y flag, and we have to start the script should be started from this symbol. Along with that, it also told you that we can check our logs from here, and along with that it also tells us from where our scripts resides. So let me show you. Our instance still running, right? So if I click on it and if I click on the connect, so my username is EC2 user. So if I click on the connect, so let me go to the CD where logs, so ls. So let's suppose your scripts did not work. So sometimes, even if you see my old videos, many times I noticed some weird behavior. multiple times script get work, multiple times script did not work. So what I did is I connect using the console. I go to the where folder, then go to the log folder, then there is a one log file. So I use the sudo command because we don't have access to cat even. So using the sudo we can cat it. So cloud init output. So if I click enter, so it will show you the content. So if we go through this content, what it will tell you. Okay, so here it started. You scroll down. So as part of the script we installed http, so hopefully it will also install the httpd. See, it is installing the httpd. All right, so here we can check if there is any error, like it will tell us okay where is the error, right? And we have created this, we put the script, but where that script go? So if you go through this document, they have told okay script will reside into this where lib cloud instances script folder. So go to that. We are in the where folder lib, then go to the cloud, then go to the instances, then go to the scripts. So we have the scripts folder. So we see like one script is there. So if you do cat part 001, okay, we don't have any permission, so use the sudo command. So this is the same scripts which we put as part of the user data, right? So this is the same script basically which we put as part of the user data. Okay, so these 11 lines. So if your script did not start at the runtime, you can connect using the EC2 instance, uh, cat the particular file where log. So it will tell you okay in which line uh, your script fail. So you can check okay sometimes there's some permission error. So if there is any permission error then what you can do, you can like connect to the EC2 instance and you can manually like create the index.html file, and then you can like uh, go to the browser and using the particular public IP you can see the content. Okay, so I will give this link, so it's very useful link. Yeah, thank you.